Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I'm sharing with you my diary entry for the week of July 21st through 27th. Today is Saturday, July 27th, and I am finally on vacation. Oh, I just started my vacation. I'm on day 2 of my vacation, so I'm still kind of like trying to wind down and everything, but man, does it feel good to be on vacation. I will be on vacation for 2 weeks, so that'll give me a good amount of time to, unwind and reduce my stress level, because I will say that my high stress level has been like wreaking havoc on me, and so it's nice to be able to step away and not have to think about that stuff for 2 weeks. But yeah, I have finished a book this week, or a manhwa. I forgot to talk to you about a book that I finished last week, so I'll talk to you about that also this week. I'm in the middle of 2 things. I have a Yarnie update section for you with a finished object, and I'll talk to you about some other projects that I am working on in that section, and then we'll wrap up with what we're watching at the end. So let's get into it. So last week I forgot to talk to you about The Never Game, which was the first book in the Colter Shaw series by Jeffrey Deaver. So I finished this one completely on audio. This is a story that follows the main character, Colter Shaw. He is a rewardist, so he's somebody who makes his living collecting rewards for things like finding missing people and things like that. And in this particular story, he gets hired to find a missing teenage girl. And he's the type of person that like comes onto the scene, and cops don't really like that he's working cases because he's not like licensed or certified or anything like that. But he is one of those people who, even though what he does is collect rewards, he doesn't take payment until after he has completed the job. So if he has found the thing or the person, that's the only time that he collects. So I really do like that about his character. This one started off a bit slow for me, and I'm not quite sure like if it was because I watched the TV show adaptation before jumping into this series, but I kind of didn't know where the story was going to go for a bit. Like, it seemed like we were going to get a whole bunch of different jobs that he was doing in that first installment, but then it finally started to morph into a more like singular story, and I think that's where my interest started picking up, because this particular case that he gets pulled into has something to do with video games. And as you know, I do play my share of video games. So it talks to you about like the industry, and it introduces you to some of the characters who game and the types of games that they play. You see Colter actually playing like a VR type game. And it was really interesting, and that's really kind of where my interest started to peak with this particular case. And throughout the story, it was a good like mystery story. I enjoyed it towards the end, and so I'm looking forward to seeing what the next installment is going to bring, because like I said, for a good portion of this particular installment, I didn't know what to expect. I kind of felt like we weren't going to be having a singular story, that we were just going to watch him on multiple cases throughout the book. And while that was true, it finally like settled on one good one that you could just like sink your teeth into and follow, instead of having these really short kind of cases that he was working. So I think that's what I prefer, is to have one installment with one case, or like a case that maybe he picks up something like really short and simple off to the side, but it still kind of remains on the road of one case. And so I'm not quite sure what to expect from this series, but I did enjoy the TV show. I did enjoy this book. I gave this book, I think, 3.5 stars, and I'm looking forward to the next one. So that was The Never Game by Jeffrey Deaver. I'm kind of wondering now if the Bone Collector series is kind of similar like that, because I've watched the Bone Collector adaptation. I've seen the movie adaptation that was done many years ago. But I'm not quite sure, because this is the first time that I've actually read Jeffrey Deaver's work, if with the Bone Collector series, you're going to see them with several cases in one installment as well. The Bone Collector is definitely a series I have on my radar, and I think I might want to check that one out before I jump into the next installment of the Coulter Shaw series, but we'll see about that. And so, yes, still lots of interest in both of those series by Jeffrey Deaver. But I also finished something this week, and so I finished The Uncanny Counter, Volume 2 by Jang. This one is published by Issei Press, rated older teen. So this is in the series about this teenager who lost his parents when he was young, and now he's a teenager, and his life kind of gets changed when he inherits these kind of supernatural abilities to fight evil spirits. He ends up joining this group. They call themselves Counters, and they kind of go around and do that. They take evil spirits back to the other plane for judgment. And I've just been really enjoying the story. I enjoyed the first volume. You know, we read it for the Monochrome Manga Club this month. I had to immediately read this. We picked this one up while we were at the store for the Monochrome Manga Club meeting, and so this is definitely a spoiler for my July manga haul. This is a webtoon, and I believe you can read it free on the Tapas app, but there's also a live action drama adaptation that's on Netflix. And so I'm really enjoying this story. I'm getting more into it now that I'm a little bit more comfortable with the whole webtoon layout. I mentioned before that I feel like with webtoons, I'm not like able to sink real deep into the story, because I feel like my brain's not having to work as hard because the colors are all there, and you know, it looks like I'm like basically reading screenshots from a cartoon, and so I feel like that's kind of detracting. But at the same time, I haven't read a lot of like full color comics, so it could be that as well. But really enjoying the story. It is very interesting. We did start watching the adaptation, which I will talk to you about more towards the end. But I will tell you that is slightly different. There are slight differences between the webtoon and the adaptation. So yeah, really enjoyed this one. Gave this one 4 stars. Will definitely be continuing. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to wait until the next installment comes out. I think the next installment comes out in September, but I am not sure. That could be another series that I'm interested in picking up. But yes, if I can't wait for the next physical to come out, I will be reading it on the Tapas app. I'm really enjoying this one. So that's everything that I've finished reading to this point. And then I am in the middle of 2 books, same 2 books that I talked to you about last week. So I have Thresher from Michael Cole on audio. This one's actually working really, really well for me on audio. I'm so glad I switched over. This is your shark thriller, where you have a shark that's terrorizing not only the ocean life around the area, but people as well in the town that it's swimming near. And so yes, we've got an operation going on to try to find this shark, and I'm just really enjoying it. It's exactly what I want out of a sharky thriller. So I am on chapter 22, page 194, and yes, if you like sharky stories, I would definitely check this one out, even though I haven't finished it. I'm hoping nothing weird's going to happen in the last quarter of the book. I don't think it will. I've read one other book by Michael Cole, and that was Helicoprion. And that one is about a prehistoric shark, and that one I really enjoyed as well. And so that's kind of made me want to try more of his sharky books. He also writes other like shark, not shark, but underwater creature terror stories. And so, yeah, I haven't checked out any of those. I kind of veered more towards the sharks because that's kind of where my interest lies. But I know he writes other thrillers about underwater creatures. And so, yeah, I might be interested in checking some of those out as well. But I'm really, really enjoying this one. The audiobook is really engaging and entertaining, and I'm quite enjoying it. So I should maybe finish this one by the time I talk to you next. I don't know how much reading I'm going to be able to get done while I'm on vacation, because reading tends to go down when I'm on vacation, and you can kind of see that it's already slowed. Just because I was so busy this week, I wasn't really able to like take my full lunch breaks and stay up late to read. Like, I've been just exhausted. Work has just like zapped all of the energy out of me, so that's kind of taken away my nighttime reading time. And with my lunches being cut short because of all of these meetings that they've been making me go to and all of the trainings and all of that, I haven't had enough like listening time either. So yeah, I'm hoping to finish this one by the time I talk to you next. I don't have much to go. I may just finish this one up physically, but we will see. So that is Thresher by Michael Cole. And then the other book that I am reading is Hunt for Atlantis by Andy McDermott. This is the first book in the Nina Chase and, I'm sorry, it's Nina Wilde and Eddie Chase series. And this is about Nina Wilde, who is an archaeologist, and Eddie Chase, who is an ex-SAS bodyguard. They head off on this adventure because Nina believes she has discovered where Atlantis is. And so they go off on this adventure with a bunch of other people, and obviously there are people out there who want to find Atlantis themselves and get all the glory for that, but there are also a group of people that don't want Atlantis to be found and want it to be hidden away forever. So you have lots of encounters with different groups, and you see our group of people like getting themselves out of that type of situation and things. It has a very Indiana Jones feel. It even like references Indiana Jones a couple times already in this book. I think Eddie Chase wears a leather jacket. In fact, just like 2 or 3 chapters back, Nina had asked him, Eddie, about the leather jacket and why he's always wearing it. It's so darn hot where they are. They're in like Brazil or something. And she's like, are you still wearing that? Like, it's so hot. And he was all like, isn't it very Indiana Jones? Just like, oh my gosh. But they have just come upon ancient civilization, and you know, when you encounter people who you can't communicate with and people who can't understand you and think that you're a threat immediately upon arrival, that's the kind of tension that's happening right now, and it's very interesting. I'm really, really enjoying it right now. I feel like it's finally gotten like its wheels going for me. For a bit there, I was like going in and out of being entertained with it, just because some tedious stuff happens. But now they're like firmly in the adventuring, and I am quite enjoying where we are with this. I think it was a good idea for me to switch from audio to physical with this, because I am enjoying it a lot more. And so, yes, I am currently on chapter 16, page 260. I'm roughly halfway through. So, yes, I'm enjoying this a lot, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next. Where I stopped, something like really curious happened, and I'm kind of wondering like what's going to happen after that. So, I kind of stopped in a place where I was like, I kind of want to keep going, but at the same time I had to stop, because otherwise who knows like when that part was going to end. And so I was just like, no, you know what, I'm just gonna stop right here. Really, really entertaining right now. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So that's The Hunt for Atlantis. And that's everything that I have read, everything that I'm currently reading right now. So I guess it's time for another Yarnie update. So I mentioned that I have a finished item, and I do have my daughter's Crunkled hippos for Christmas. That's what I called them. That's how I logged them in on Ravelry. So this was the sock that I was working on when I talked to you last week. So you can see my little angel marker here. This is where I was, where I talked to you, and so I finished this much. This is the Crunkled pattern by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears podcast. I am a patron of theirs, but this is not a patron pattern. This one is available to purchase. I believe a lot of people have done the Crunkled pattern. It seems to be pretty popular. It is a very squishy texture. Like I mentioned before, when you're wearing this particular pattern, it does give you that massage on the top of your foot. Really, really nice. I enjoyed this one. It's an easy pattern to remember as well. And so, yes. Specifications on this. So I did a 2x2 rib, 56 stitches for my daughter, 15 rows of 2x2 rib. I did, I can't remember, like 46 or so rows in the leg. I did a slip stitch heel flap, square heel turn, and then I did 55 rows in the foot. And I only did 55 because I had started these socks before my daughter settled on 60 being the better like length for her. 55 still works, but she likes 60 a bit better. So these will still fit. They'll be fine for her. And so, yeah. And then I did my lightning toe, which is just a rounded toe without that ridge on the sides. So, yeah, now I can give these to my daughter, and she really likes them. The yarn that I used is Lolo Did It's plush sock in the Hippos for Christmas colorway. I believe this was Hippos for Christmas 2018. So this was actually the second pair of socks that I had done from this one skein. I have a pair of socks that I had done for myself in this skein, and so I used the rest of the skein for my daughter. And then the heels and toes is a Cascade Heritage in a teal color. So yeah, really, really happy with these. So that's another finished item for me. So that is great. And now my daughter can have these socks. So really, really happy with these. Oh, and just so you know, in case you're interested, this is how much I had left of the Hippos for Christmas after doing a pair of socks for myself and one for my daughter. So there's a good chunk there, and I like to keep these around for when I have to do patches and things. I might use a little bit if I want to do a scrap project, but I tend not to do those types of things. Just because for me, it's either work on that scrap project or work on something else. And I don't find a lot of enjoyment in scrap projects, but I do keep these nuggets and things around in case, you know, I find inspiration for something, and for fixes in case there's a hole or something I need to patch. Because I do much prefer patching in the yarn that the sock is made out of, or sweater. I haven't had to patch a sweater yet, thank goodness. But socks, I had to patch a sock. I have 3 pairs of socks that I do need to patch. I'm kind of putting it on my list of things to do while I'm on vacation. But yes, this is what I have after making myself a pair for my daughter, and after making myself a pair, and after making a pair for my daughter. So yeah, it's good that I can get 2 pairs of socks out of one skein and still have a little bit left for fixes and things. So that is great. So then we have my niece's mini last unicorn sweater in the Small World bag. I did not work on this very much this week. I will tell you, I did not work on my Gemini at all. That's how tired I was. I barely did any knitting this week. and you'll see how much. So this is where I was last week. This is where I am now. And so there's like less than an inch there. I do intend on having lots of time to work on this though, because the Olympics are on. And so yes, there'll be lots of knitting on this during the Olympics, or my Gemini, because both of them are stockinette in the round projects. And so yes, that is my mini last unicorn. Pattern is from Meghan Regan at the Bad Wolf Girl Studios podcast. This is a 6 to 8 child size sweater, and I'm doing it in Lion Brand Pound of Love in turquoise. I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby in the fruit salad colorway for the unicorns, and then a Lion Brand deconstructed mandala cake in gnome for the rainbows. Really enjoying this one. And so yeah, we'll see how much I get done by the time I talk to you next. And then finally, I have a new cast on. So because I finished my daughter's Crunkled socks, I needed another textured sock pattern to work on, because I need a little bit of something different in between all of the stockinette that I've been doing. And so I have my shark bag from Utterly Adorable Knits. You can see all the different types of sharks on there. This is, I believe it's her medium size bag. I tend to buy the large or the extra large size, but this particular one, that's all, the only size she had was the medium when I purchased this. So yeah, it's a good sock project bag. I'm sure the small will probably be better, but I don't mind it being a little bit larger. And so I have decided on the Drippity Drop sock pattern by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears podcast. It's a pattern that I've had in my library for a while and have never worked up, and I thought, you know what, I think this yarn would look good. And so the yarn I chose is Yarn Cafe Creations Biscotti Sock in the Tipsy Shark colorway. So you can see it's a mostly gray yarn with speckles of really deep teal color, and the yarn is like a variegated, really light turquoise and variegated gray. So yes, I had actually pulled this out to try to design a sock pattern, and that sock pattern did not quite work out for me, so I'm not really happy with it. And so that's why the cake looks kind of small. I actually have the sock that I had tried. It's this one. So the sock's actually going to look kind of like this. Same like color. So it's going to be the Tipsy Shark with the contrast heel and toe. So I will probably need to unravel this in order to do a sock set for my daughter. But I have the contrasting color here. So this is one of the Utterly Adorable Knits yarn cake wrappers. So I just put the contrast color in here to keep it from getting all messy. But that's the color. This is Undoing from Lolo Did It in the plush sock base. So I believe that is a Lord of the Rings reference. And so yeah, I'm just keeping it in here. So I did get a start on the Drippity Drop, and so this is what I have so far. I'm not even sure that you're going to be able to see all that much. It is a 4-row repeat on the pattern. So I basically did my 2x2 rib, 64 stitches, and then I did 2 repeats of the pattern. So yeah, I don't think you're going to really be able to see all that much because there's not much fabric there. But I did put on my Progress Keeper over here just so that you guys can see which Progress Keeper I am using, and that is a shark. So again, it's part of this group of products from Utterly Adorable Knits, and so I just got everything so that I'd have like a matching set. And so yeah, I'm using my Addy Flexi Flips that I was using for the Crunkleds. I do really like the Flexi Flips. I probably like the Flexi Flip Squared a little bit more, just because it is a little bit longer. The needles are a little bit longer, so there's a little bit more to grab onto, but I do like these. So yeah, hopefully you'll see a little bit more work on this. I'm trying to alternate out what I'm working on. So like if I work on the mini last unicorn, I'll work on this next, and then I'll work on the Gemini, and then I'll work on this, just to keep it like fresh and entertaining, you know? And so yeah, so far so good. The pattern repeat on this is super easy to memorize. I've already memorized it. I've only worked 2 repeats. I had already memorized it after the first repeat, so yes, that's something that I really enjoy about Kay Jones's patterns. They're really easy to remember, and it's not, she doesn't do really difficult stuff. And I pretty much follow the pattern, and then I do my own like heel and heel turn. Sometimes she'll do different heel turns. I prefer the square heel turn just because I find that that fits my heel the best. But on this particular sock, the heel flap is Eye of Partridge in the pattern. And you know, after seeing all of the socks that I've shown you recently, I don't do Eye of Partridge. And that's mostly because my Eye of Partridge skills are not very good. So I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll just like put in my normal like slip stitch heel flap. But I'm like, you know what? This is a good opportunity to practice your Eye of Partridge. Most of the reason why I don't like Eye of Partridge is because you can't tell that there's a pattern there for me. For me, it looks like a stockinette stitch heel flap. I don't know how to get it to look like the Eye of Partridge. So I'm going to try again and see. I do think the Eye of Partridge heel flap looks really good with this pattern, which is another reason why I want to do it. But like I said, usually when I'm done doing an Eye of Partridge heel flap, it just looks like a stockinette stitch heel flap. And I know that it took a lot more than just doing stockinette stitch in order to create that heel flap. So it's unsatisfying for me, but I'm willing to give it another go. So we'll see what it looks like, and we'll see where I am with this the next time I talk to you. So those are all of the projects that I'm currently working on. And yeah, I do have plans to work on, like I said, this sock, the mini last unicorn sweater, and my Gemini during the Olympics. We have already started watching the Olympics, starting with the opening ceremony yesterday. I really enjoyed that. Lots of controversy there from what I'm reading, but I thought it was really interesting. To be honest, I pretty much vegged out while I was watching the Olympics yesterday because it was my first day being on vacation. I was just like trying to like, I don't know, just relax. And I did my nails, so I had some patriotic nail wraps that I put on. So I did that real slow and just kind of, you know, enjoyed my day, enjoyed watching the Olympics and seeing all of the countries and all of that. So yeah, I do plan on working on projects when I'm watching this evening though. I do feel a little bit more energized. And so yeah. What else have we been watching? We're moving into what we've been watching. So, like I said, we started the Uncanny Counter. We are really, really enjoying that drama. We watch about 2 episodes a night. I don't know how that's going to go, though, with all of the Olympics watching that we have. So we'll have to see. But yeah, that's pretty much what we've been doing this week, is just like our regular TV shows, which is 2 Days and One Night, which is a Korean variety show, and Running Man, which is another Korean variety show. And then we've been watching the Uncanny Counter, 2 episodes a night. I did watch something several weeks ago that I never talked to you about. So I guess I can talk to you about it here because it kind of ties in with the Olympics. So we watched The Boys in the Boat, the movie. It's on Amazon Prime Video. And that is about a rowing team and them like getting into the Olympics, and the Olympics being in Germany and all of that. It was really, really good. I know there's a book out there, but I'm not really one to read nonfiction. I much prefer to watch nonfiction. And even though this is not a documentary per se, I found it to be very interesting and entertaining, and it ties right in with the Olympic stuff because they do compete in the Olympics during the movie. And so, yeah, it was really, really good. Really enjoyed it. I truthfully didn't know what to expect. And so, yeah, I'm really glad we watched it and we really enjoyed it. There is another movie that's out on Disney Plus right now that's called The Girl in the Water or something like that. That also has Olympic ties to it, as well as some other achievements in open water swimming. And that looks really interesting. I think we're going to try to watch that also sometime soon. Probably after the Olympics, though, just because I don't know where we're going to fit in other watching time because there's so much Olympics, right? And so, yeah, we went to the movies this week. We watched Twisters. It was really good. I really, really enjoyed it. We did watch the first Twister movie, the 1996, I think, version, the day before we went to go watch Twisters. And I really enjoy both the original movie and this new, like, movie. I do feel like they're two separate, like, stories. Like, you can't really say they're sequels, and I would have probably preferred if they didn't try to do a little bit of a tie-in, because they did during Twisters, but it was a very brief like tie-in, and I feel like nothing would have been lost if they just didn't do that. And I do view them as two separate like movies, like with no connections at all, and they were both very enjoyable. Really enjoyed that. I think this coming week, my daughter and I are going to go watch part of the Olympics at the theater. So our theater is doing what they're calling live watch parties, which is something new this year. And so we have decided to go and check it out and see what it's like. I believe the day we're going, there's swimming and gymnastics. And so, yeah, but it's like live, and so it's like really early in the morning. So I've never been to the theater, I don't think, really early in the morning. We usually go in the evening hours. So it'll be interesting to see what the like watch party is like. See how many people there might be there and what like the vibe is in the theater while we're watching. I know I can get kind of animated when I'm watching, especially like swimming. And so we'll see how that goes. But I think it'll be interesting, and so I'll talk to you about what that was like next time I talk to you. And I think that's pretty much all I have for you today. So let me know down in the comments below what you've been watching, what you've been reading, what you've been working on. Are you watching the Olympics? Do you have sports that you really enjoy watching? If so, let me know down in the comments below. And if nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me some kind of sports emoji for the Olympics, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that'll do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.